What's up, people? What's up? What is up? What's up, people? Good morning. Well, good morning for some, good afternoon for others, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Hello, how art thou? We are here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, Let me say hello to some of y'all. As you all come in. Hey, little baby. Hey, Danny. Hey, MBN. Hey, Abby. Hey, Tanya. Hello to everyone as we all gather and come into the room and discuss the politics of it all. Let me look and see how everything looks over here on the YouTube side. Yes, how are we this morning? I it is my hope and my prayer that this morning, as with any of my lives, but especially when we do the politics of it all lives, that you are edified and um that you are here for it, and you learn something, and something is that looks weird. That looks really weird. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that looks really weird. All right, so I'm looking at it from the YouTube side. Everything looks good on the YouTube side. Okay. Um, all right. I'm just looking at some stuff, seeing what I need to play around with and edit on my little overlay thing. I worked that out yesterday after I got off the live. Where I was doing a tutorial. I did this um overlay, and I see some stuff that I need to work out on the YouTube. I mean, when I edit it later, but I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place with it. How y'all like it? Y'all like it? Hey, Lunam. Child. Lunam, there seems to be an outbreak of diabetes that sugar seems to be spiking all across the fruited plains. So we'll talk about this diabetes epidemic that we have going on all over these yet to be United States of America, because that is the problem, with America. It's the diabetes. It's the sugar. That sugar. Sugar. I feel like people are judging me because I'm drinking my juice right out of the bottle. Listen, when I buy like bottles of juice, I always buy like 4 or 5 because I always want my personal one that I could drink out of and backwash and do all I want to do with it and not be bothered. I got mine. There's one for the general public, but mine is for me. I bought the wrong one though. Last time I had the crayon mango, and this is the crayon pineapple. It's all right, but it ain't the crayon mango. The crayon mango is the one that I need, so I'm gonna get some of that today. Well, thank you, MVM. Anyway, so we are going to talk about some things, educate ourselves, and try not to have a full scale meltdown. We're going to do that. I'm going to try not to have a full scale. I can't promise you anything, but there's a rage rumbling deep inside, and the phoenix will rise at some point. The phoenix will rise at some point, and that rage will, spew its rage all over the place. Anyway, so we will start off today with good news. Oh, quick question. Anybody well, I'm gonna ask that anybody been practicing their thumbnails and stuff. I'm looking to see the next few thumbnails that I see from some of my reviewer friends who I know went and watched the video, and I want to see thumbnail, or not just reviewer friends, but people who do videos, and see if they practiced or if they um did anything with it. You know, I don't just want to put it out there, hey Yana, um and nobody use it, you know what I'm saying? Because then I could just save that time, effort, and energy. But I feel like it was it helped somebody, and it was educational and stuff like that. So anyway, so that's all of the stuff that we needed to talk about with regard to that. So let's get down to the bump and grind. No, I don't see nothing wrong with the little bump and grind, as we are still canceling that young man. I'm sorry. This song is good. I don't care. This song is a bump. I mean, we didn't. I mean, I still watch the Cosby Show because the Rudy Huxtables of the world. I mean, Keisha Knight Pulliams and Malcolm Jamal Warners and Felicia Rashad. They need to get paid too. R. Kelly wasn't the only one on those songs. I mean, he had other people that were playing instruments and doing backgrounds and with writing credits and producer credits and engineering credits that might need to still get paid too. I'm just saying these people got to eat. I mean, the canceling of him comes in him being in jail. How about that? That's the ultimate cancel. The ultimate cancel comes when someone is locked away in jail. That is the cancel. I could be wrong. Anyway, so we'll start off happy. Okay. Hey L. Lewis, we will start off happy today. We will start off with good news, with the hope and prayer that at some point I don't have to do my patented. Y'all know when I have to do this, it's just all downhill. It's just all. So we're gonna just go, and hopefully we don't have to subject ourselves to that today. Just saying. So um y'all, it's supposed to rain here in the greater Atlanta area from now until Thursday. I, being someone who still has to go in the building for work, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just not, because it's cold. It's always cold. See, I'm from a place that rains all the time, like Miami. Miami, it rains during about 9 or 10 months of the year. It rains every day, but it's like a quick 20, 30 minute rain. Hey, Pink Sugar, we're gonna talk about some stuff. Welcome, y'all. Make Pink Sugar feel welcome. Put some shondos in the chats, okay? And but in Miami, we have a quick 20, 30 minute torrential downpour, and then it's back to being hot. But it's still regular rain. Here it's depressing because it's cold rain. Like it'll be like 40 degrees, but be raining, and it's that cold rain. Can I have one or the other? Can I have just either rain or cold? I don't want both. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, MVN up there in the you still up there in the Northwest where it rains every day as well up there? Shit. Um, so let's do the good news first. Good news is Biden has, I believe, 16 or 17 of his cabinet picks that that have been confirmed. He is pushing them out there. I should say the Senate is pushing them through. He's getting most of them. He's only had one casualty. And that was the Tandon, near Tandon. And he hasn't chosen anybody yet for that position. But yesterday they confirmed Deb Haaland, who is going to be Secretary of the Interior, and she is the first Native American indigenous person to hold a cabinet seat, which is very important. She was a member of Congress, and now she's a cabinet member. But what's so important about it is the position with which she holds. Secretary of the Interior, one of the duties of the Secretary of the Interior is to help continue to foster a positive relationship with the Native Americans, and all of the indigenous people within this country. Also protecting of, national treasures, and national parks and different things, all of those things that involve the land and so forth. So and with her being Native American and so forth, she talks very highly about her grandmother and how much of a activist her grandmother was for Native American and indigenous people. So it's great to see. um Right, but he's the vice president. Technically, the vice president isn't a cabinet member. Well, I guess he's a cabinet member, I guess, technically, but literally, he's the vice president. And the cabinet members consist of the various secretaries. So, that is a bit of positive news. The other positive news is Joe Biden seems to be listening to a lot of those of us who are, you know, uh, giving our commentary on politics, and Democratic pundits all over the fruited plains that have been screaming, hey, y'all had this big piece of legislation that passed. Don't do like Obama did. Y'all need to go out and do a victory lap. And so that's what Biden and Harris are doing. They are traveling around the country, basically doing a victory lap where they are basically saying, hey, y'all got checks? That's coming from us. Y'all farmers, y'all got, we have helped y'all, and we have forgiven a lot of dead, and we have put money in y'all pockets. That was us. Schools, y'all about to get a whole chunk of change. That was us. Mayors and states, governments around the country, y'all about to get a whole bunch of money to help y'all out with this pandemic stuff. That was us. Businesses around the country, y'all getting monies in y'all coffers. That was us. Please don't get it twisted. When these Republican people come around here trying to tell y'all that they had a part of it, that Congress did this. No, those whores did nothing. They did nothing. So I applaud them for um, going out and taking a victory lap. You gotta at some point say, no, I did that. That was not that. That was me. Otherwise, the other side will take credit for it. So that is very, very, very good news. Very important. So I wanted to start with the news, with the good news, before I lose my mind. And I'm gonna try. I'm trying, y'all, not to lose my mind at some point. So let's get right down to it. So since we were talking about legislators and legislations, and in the very same state where 1 year ago an innocent black woman was murdered and executed for no apparent reason, sanctioned by law enforcement and the great state of Kentucky. In that same state, dear God, they are passing, well, I should say, um, the Senate in the great state of Kentucky passed, what's the name of this bill? Senate Bill 211. And what is Senate Bill 211? I'm glad you asked. In the great state of Kentucky, they are passing a bill which basically makes it a crime now for you to say anything disparaging to a policeman, for you to taunt them or for you to exercise your freedom of speech and call it like it is. And if the police feel like you said anything that they deem, well, let me read to you what the actual bill says. Okay. Under this legislation, anyone who, quote, accosts, insults, taunts, or challenges a law enforcement officer with offensive or derisive words or by gestures or other physical contact that would have a direct tendency to provoke a violent response, end quote, would be guilty of a misdemeanor and face up to 90 days in jail and fines. Now, they would lead you to believe that this is in response, hey Regina, that this is in response to the terrorist attack that we just had in January. Mm-mm. This is in response to last summer. Because I noticed that they said, see, here's the language that upsets me. Insults, accosts, that's a different story. Because when you accost somebody, that's a crime. But when you're talking about insults, when you're talking about challenges, I'm gonna leave the taunts out of there. I think that's a real gray area when you say taunt. But when you're talking about someone that may be simply insulting you or taunting, or not taunting, or challenging you, and you as a professional can't remain professional enough to do your job, hey, Quintessential, you probably should not have that job. That's just like a teacher. Me as teacher, I have to remain professional, and I have to know that sometimes students do things that may be insulting or that I may feel is challenging me. And my duty is to remain professional, and my duty is to continue to do my job with the ethics that is involved there, with the professionalism that is involved there, and knowing how to get the situation to a point where it can not get to a point where we have to have whole full-scale meltdowns. My job and training and professional development should be thus not to continue to gaslight the situation, but to quell the situation and get it under control, and not feed off of anything that I see as a challenge and so forth. See, words like challenge or insult is very subjective. Very subjective. Here's the other part of that language that is subjective: offensive or derisive words. Who determines what is offensive or what is derisive? Because people think just saying Black Lives Matter is offensive. I'm just saying. Or derisive. Let's just be clear. This is aimed at Black people and people of color who are going out and protesting and saying to to this country and to lawmakers and legislators that we don't like what you're doing. What you're doing is wrong, and you need to stop. One of the original, one of the things that the quote unquote founding fathers really wanted to make open and free across the country is the right to protest, the right to speak up when something's wrong, because they feel like they didn't have that right over in England. And now we're the lawmakers in this country are wanting to turn these yet to be United States of America into exactly what Great Britain was when the colonists left. That's what they're trying to turn this into. So they're trying to morph this country into what they came out. It's just it's circular history almost. It's so ridiculous what we have going on here. The other part of this that is alarming or that we should be concerned with is the part that says or by gestures. Gestures means if I'm putting up my fist, then now you see that as a problem. That's a gesture that you feel is offensive. And so now you go and take me to jail. So now you're giving credence and rights to police officers to arrest anybody that protests. Because if I protest and I say anything, I could say, you know what, I'm protesting because I just don't like that today is Tuesday. Up, that offends me. I find that offensive. You're going to jail. And so what is, and even if they don't stay, if they don't get convicted or if the charges get thrown out, they still, one, have an arrest record. Two, that gives them the right to at any given point break up any type of protest or break up any type of um, political uprising or that there may be. That gives them credence. Anytime they see a group of people saying that we are, taking up protests against signs and protesting against something, up, I find that language offensive. Up, you held up your fist. That's offensive gesture. Come on, let's go to jail. And so now, no, you have people that I'm not going to say people are going to be in fear because we got some of us out here. What's good? What's good, Jason? That's going to do what we have to do anyway and say it is what it is. But now you're criminalizing. It almost sounds like you're criminalizing protests. They're going to tell you that's not what they're doing. That this is not directed toward Black Lives Matter and protests from them, but we know that's what it is. It's the diabetes. It's the sugar. Sugar. I told y'all there is an epidemic. As much as we have a pandemic going on with COVID-19, there's an epidemic going on with sugar diabetes. Apparently it's the sugar diabetes all over the fruited plains. And that's what y'all got going on in the great state of Kentucky. It passed the Senate. It still has to go to the House of Representatives in the great state of Kentucky. And then if it passes in the House, which I mean, this is Kentucky, so we probably will, then it goes to the governors. It goes to the governor for him to either sign into law or veto. Just a mess. Exactly, Lunam. So now if you ask for their badge number or something like that, they can see that as a challenge to them, and now they're going to arrest you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. A mess. This is a whole ass mess. But this is what y'all have going on. And since we're talking about laws that we just don't care for across the fruited plain, Yana and the rest of y'all people down there to Kentucky, y'all need to be making some phone calls to your state representatives and your state senators and talking to some people and getting with certain political groups out there that can help fight this, because y'all got to put up a fight against this, because if you don't, we're turning most of these states into aristocracies. Let me just, I'm bringing myself back down, y'all, because I'm trying not to go full scale meltdown yet. I'm not ready for the meltdown yet. We're not ready just yet for a meltdown. I mean, we're gonna have full scale aristocracies. Uh, That's all they want. That's all they want. They want an aristocracy. That's what they want to turn this into. And the sad part is some of the people that are voting with people who are trying to turn this into an aristocracy um are people who don't fall into that category but think they do simply because they're white. You got white people out here just as poor as the rest of us thinking that, oh, at least I'm better than the blacks. They'll look out for me. No, they won't, because you're poor. You can do nothing for them. You can give them nothing, so they don't care about you. Anyway, continuing on, we have more than 30 states across the fruited plains that are trying to suppress your votes, that are feverishly passing laws and legislation to suppress the vote around the country. Um, the How do I put this? I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying, y'all. All right, let me just put it out there. They don't care about y'all. They do not want y'all to vote. They're going to do everything to take your right to vote away from you. So much so, even when you do go vote, if by chance you can get out there and vote, they're going to take that away from you. And we'll get into that in just a sec. But if they are inching, and I know you saw Stacey Abrams and people saying that this is modern day Jim Crow laws. They are inching back to the old Jim Crow laws where they're going to have you counting jelly beans in a jar and stuff like that in order to vote. This is what they want to go to. Let's be clear. This is what they want to go to. Shouts out to the Teacher Project 2.0. If you watch the Teacher Project 2.0, you know that every time we come on there, I go through state by state, especially last summer, telling you what the school openings were in all of the 50 states. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you information with regard to what states are passing what bills with regard to voter suppression. All right. So let's start with Alaska. Alaska is passing they're passing laws to restrict early in-person voting as well as mail-in voting in Alaska. In the state of Washington, they're passing laws to restrict mail-in voting. In the state of California, they are passing laws to restrict mail-in voting. And you notice I'm not just calling out Republican or red states. I am calling out Democratic and Republican states. So as much as, and even I did on a couple of lives weeks ago, as much as I talked about the red states, we got some of this stuff going on in blue states. Please be clear. In the great state of Hawaii, you have laws being passed to restrict. Why are you calling me? To restrict mail-in voting, just like in California. In Idaho, they're restricting both early in-person voting as well, early voting as well as mail-in voting. In Nevada, they got a whole lot going on with regard to early voting as well as mail-in voting. Arizona is mainly mail-in voting, but they have a little bit of stuff out there about early voting. I'm going to get to Arizona in just a second. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on Arizona because y'all really need to know what's going on out there in Arizona. It's a whole ass mess out there. Just a whole mess. Montana, is mail-in voting. They're attacking Colorado mail-in voting. In New Mexico, it's a lot of the early voting. They got some rules restricting mail-in voting as well. But in Arizona, it is not Arizona, but in New Mexico, it's a lot of stuff they're putting out there restricting the early voting in New Mexico. The great state of Texas is trying to do away, if they can, with early voting altogether. They're putting out some stuff out there about mail-in voting, but they're really going in on the early voting in Texas. Oklahoma is both early and mail-in votes. Kansas is both. Nebraska is mail-in voting that they're attacking. South Dakota and North Dakota are attacking both. Minnesota is going in at the mail-in voting a lot, but they're also trying to attack early voting. Iowa is the same. Missouri is attacking both as well. Not as much as some other states. I mean, Missouri, they got their own issues, so they haven't passed as much legislation as some other states because they're fighting internally in both the Democratic um, party in Missouri as well as the Republican Party in Missouri. I might do a live about that because there's a lot going on in the state of Missouri. Anybody here from the state of Missouri? There is a lot going on there politically. Mississippi, they're not going to be left out. They're passing a lot of laws with regard to both early and mail-in voting. Tennessee is doing everything they can to eradicate early voting. A lot of states where there's a large number of black people, like Tennessee is passing a lot. They have a lot of, I shouldn't say passing, but they have a lot of legislation that is being put on the floor for mail-in voting. Not mail-in voting, early voting, I should say. Some mail-in, but mainly early. Indiana is doing a lot to thwart early voting and mail-in voting. Illinois, yes, as blue as it comes, Illinois has laws that are going to be introduced in their respective state congresses, House and Senate in the great state of Illinois for both mail-in and early voting, and this is to restrict it. It's a whole mess. Alabama, who hasn't done a whole lot with the early voting, but they are doing a lot with regard to the mail-in vote in Alabama. Georgia's hitting both. Georgia says, listen, we're not going to have a repeat of 2020. They're hitting the early vote. They're hitting the mail-in vote. They're hitting it all. They do not care in Georgia. They say we will not have a repeat of 2020. We don't care about no Stacey Abrams. We don't care about none of these other groups that's out there. Georgia said Florida is following suit. You know, Florida will not be outdone with their level brand of fuckery. I know my home state if I don't know nothing else. They're passing legislations for both early voting and mail-in voting as well. South Carolina is doing legislation on both. Pennsylvania has legislation being introduced on both. Maryland has legislation. Pennsylvania doesn't have legislation being introduced on mail-in. I'm sorry, on early voting is mail-in in Pennsylvania. I take that back. New Jersey is also the mail-in and not in early voting. Maryland, though, has bills being introduced to restrict both early and mail-in voting. Connecticut also has just mail-in voting that they're introducing legislations to reduce or restrict. And so does New Hampshire. New Hampshire, no, not really any early voting legislation being introduced, but they have a lot of legislation with regard to mail-in voting. And that is all of the states that I'm showing that has laws with regard to restricting your vote. What they're trying to do is a lot of laws are saying no early voting on doing things like no early voting on Sundays because they know some states have souls to the polls where people will go to church and then they'll get on buses and stuff like that and go and early vote. They have states that are restricting the time frames for early voting. They have shoot, Georgia is trying to pass legislation that says you can't even give water and snacks to people in line for early voting. Just a mess. But not to be undone. Not to be. And the reason that I did all of those, I went state by state because if you live in that state, you know people in that state, you have friends or family in that state, you need to be calling these individuals and letting them know you need to reach out to whoever your local Congress state representative is or your state senator is. You need to be writing some letters. You need to do what the white people do. They already trying to pass laws in some of these states saying that we can't go and protest. I can sure write me a good sickening letter and email. We had a campaign a few years back down in in my home state of Florida where we had a form letter that you could send to and it was just a matter of you could put your name in, type your name in, and basically all you had to do was type your name in and that letter, and you could email it to, and they would give you the email to all of the people that you needed to email. You would send it out, and you could just send an email. We would do an email a day, and so once you sent the email out one time, it was always there. So it was a weekly email. It was Tuesdays, every Tuesday, y'all emails going out today. We would send an email. And it was like thousands of us that would do it at the same day. All right. And we would have an alarm set because you gotta know, how this worked. We had people that were doing things like, okay, what day you off work? That's your day to call in. You call in 4 times that day, to your local representative about about whatever, piece of legislation we're concerned about. But we got to be smarter about these things and we got to hit them sometimes where it hurts. Starting to write letters to advertisers and different people, big companies involved with these places because it's going to get real and we're really going to have to start to be strategic about what we do because every time we come up with see they're always reactionary. We some are a lot of times proactive and they are reactive. So we'll say, okay, we're going to get out the vote, or we're going to come up with this program in order to get more people voting or get the people out there. What they will do is once they see that what we did worked, they'll say, oh, let me pass a bill or some legislation to stop that. Not knowing that as let me just say this as black people we are the most intelligent beings on the face of this thing we call earth. Let's be clear. So what happens is we will put something in place, it will work. These people will then come behind us after it works and says, oh, that worked. Oh, well, let's try and put in legislation to stop that from happening again. Not knowing that the expanse of our minds is, you understand what I'm saying, limitless. So do you not think that we cannot come up with something else to thwart whatever it is you try to put in place to stop whatever we are? If we came up with something before, we can come up with something again. Anyway, not to be undone, the state of Arizona is passing legislation that will permit the state legislature to retain authority over the selection of presidential electors and to revoke an elector's certification by majority vote anytime before the presidential inauguration, regardless of whether the legislature is in session at the time. They are introducing that bill in the great state of Arizona. And I know that was a lot of rhetoric, and you're like, I don't know what that means. What that means is this. In the great state of Arizona, if the people, I'll use the last election as your example, the people voted Biden won the popular vote, which essentially meant that, oh, when they do electoral college, the electorates, the presidential electors will go and cast their vote for Biden, certify their vote for Biden. because that's who the people in the great state of Arizona voted for. That's who won. This bill says that the state legislature can revoke that. They can revoke the certification anytime before the presidential inauguration. They can say, oh, y'all thought that's who we were certified? No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. And to add insult to injury, not this is like this is going against everything that makes this a democratic republic. Okay, this is basically saying that we don't give a crap how y'all voted. If we don't want that to go down like that, then this is what it is. That's what they're saying. Mind you, mind you, they not only said that, but they're saying now here's where you get into real political and parliamentary procedural um, policy here. You're talking about the legislature, the Arizona legislature, taking away the votes of the people and how they voted. Problem, the thing that enhances this problem is it's a simple majority that they need, meaning you don't even have to have like when you pass a bill in Congress, you need at least 60 votes and stuff like that. Oh no, we need a simple majority, meaning if they're split for if there's a equal split, then who's ever in power at that time can decide where the vote's going to go. You see where I'm going there? Now the gray area in all of this is there is an official certification of votes that comes in early December of a presidential election year, where after that is basically certified and electoral college votes are assigned, and after that it's a done deal. There'll be nothing that can be done at that point, even if Arizona decides, because they have stuff here saying that we can revoke the certification anytime before the presidential election, whether or not they're in session or not. What I don't understand is the whether or not we're in session or not part, because how are you able to vote on this if you're not in session? Like, are you voting remotely? Are you saying that the vote, because they're not in session, the leaders of, the House and Senate in Arizona get to make the decision? Like, how does that go? Listen, can I tell y'all the amount of scathing emails that I be sending right now to everyone that holds office in Arizona legislature? Like, are you kidding me? And I think this is flying under the radar, and people are not paying attention to this, because let's be clear, if this goes through in Arizona, if this piece of legislation goes through in Arizona, it's going to set precedent. You think the people in positions of power in the state of Georgia wouldn't like to have this kind of power? After what happened after Donald Trump, if he would have came there and damn near had his own insurrection at the Capitol building of Atlanta. Do you not think that a state like Georgia that wanted no parts of turning blue would not love this type of legislation to be on the books? This is going to have residual effects and will set precedent. And so just as hard, listen, you already know, little baby. You already know. They probably already have it written up in Florida. They're just waiting to see how it goes over in Arizona. Oh, that went by. All right, here goes out. Here's ours. Within the hour of the Arizona legislation being passed and signed, they're going to, press the send button and have that introduced on the floor of the Florida House of Representatives and Senate. I'm just telling you what I know. This is how these people work. And just as hard as we fought for a lot of states, not just Georgia, but there are a lot of states in Wisconsin, in Minnesota, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan. A lot of those states where we fought hard, even in South Carolina, even though it still went red, and North Carolina, there was a lot of hard battles fought and won in a lot of these states. Those same political engines and arms need to be over there in the great state of Arizona fighting a good fight. Somebody need to be over there shining the spotlight on what's going on over there, because if this kind of stuff is not stopped, it's going to be a problem. It's going to, and see, we have the voting rights bill that John Lewis wrote before he died that has still not made it to the floor of Congress, God. And these people in these states know that. And so they are doing everything they can to push stuff through real fast before federal law comes. Because now, if they can get this stuff passed before the federal law comes, now what they can do is say, oh, no, we already had this on the book. We going to court, and y'all can't just make this happen because we already had laws on the book before y'all had y'all law on the book. So now we need the judiciary system to figure this out, because y'all law cannot, hold precedent over our law, which was already in the books. So then the judiciary branch is going to get involved. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. Have we not forgotten that for the last 4 years, hundreds of judges have been put in lifetime positions in the judiciary branch just for this case? When y'all come and say, oh, y'all, we got a federal bill that said y'all can't do that, that judiciary branch is going to say, no, it's okay, they can go ahead and do that. Donald Trump put me in this position so that I could make this decision, and I'm going to do that now. I was put here for a reason. I'm going to exercise that reason. You got a bunch of yahoos that they put on the bench all across the country. A bunch of hacks. It's getting real scary. I hate to be an alarmist. I hate to be an alarmist. But what they got going on in Arizona, somebody need to be out there. Somebody need to be shining a light on this. Somebody needs, listen, I understand that you're going on your victory tour, Joe Biden, but your victory and all of this could be very short-lived, because I told y'all, if the Dems don't do the right thing, they are going to be in for a bloodbath come 2022. It's going to be a bloodbath. That is the great state of Arizona. And those are the states where you have laws that are trying to restrict and suppress your vote. We need to remove all of the sugar babies that Tetris con man put in place. I'm not doing this with you, Ludab. I am not doing this with you. That is too funny. That just makes me laugh. Right, they over there playing Candyland. Republicans over there playing chess. I listen. You know what I would have started doing last month? I would have let January go by, but February 1st, you know what I would have started doing? Okay, let's. I know we confirming cabinet members. That's all well, fine, and dandy. But at the same time, I need to get this whole list of judges that we about to put on the bench, because just like they stack the courts, we need to do our own stacking of courts. I'm just saying. Ciao. Watch their candy. Listen, we don't need them sugar levels to spike like it already is. So this is a little lighter, still a little problematic, but not as heavy as the last one. Before I go into the last two stories, which probably will send me straight into meltdown mode, and I will probably be ranting and raving during the last 20 minutes of this live, because I already know the last two stories are going to send me there. I just know it. I know the last two stories are going to send me there. The Vatican, because we look to the Vatican to be the agency by which we look for what's right and wrong. The Vatican, dear God, has come out and said that that Catholic priests cannot bless same-sex unions. Now, if you remember, the Pope came out a couple years ago and said that he didn't have a problem with giving legal um with legally allowing same-sex unions and or allowing same-sex union to have all of the legal rights, but he was talking legally. He said nothing to you know how that would fare ecclesiastically or in terms of religion. um they came out with a statement saying that the Vatican holds that gay people must be treated with dignity and respect, but that gay sex is intrinsically disordered. That's what they said. Um, Catholic teachings holds that marriage between a man and a woman and woman is part of God's plan and is intended for the sake of creating new life. Last time I checked, creating new life had nothing to do with marriage. Marriage is a man-made plan. Had nothing to do with the good Lord. Nothing. Let me tell you how. I hate to go down this road, but since we here down the rabbit hole, we just gonna go there now. Let me tell you how much that this is not even a social construct. Marriage is a business contract that happened between families. Okay, it had nothing to do with the things that they hold so dear, love, monogamy, this, that. It had nothing to do with that. It was a business contract between families. Let's be clear. Last time I checked, Catholicism was a form of Christianity where they believe in Jesus Christ, who was the human embodiment of the good Lord and was here to show us what it was to be human and how we should live. Don't you think that if this whole construct and ideology that the good Lord came up with himself and had constructed, don't you think that he would have got married just to show that that was something that was sanctioned by it? But he didn't do that because this is a man-made ideology. Marriage is a man-made. The fixation on marriage is beyond. The fixation on marriage isn't even instinctually supported. If you go just sheer instincts, it's not even supported. It's just ridiculous. Okay. But I guess it makes sense. I guess if you made the institution, You could decide how that institution should and should not exist. But what I hate is the deification of this one person who then becomes this demigod that is now telling you what God will and will not allow because he's the authority now, because he's God himself. So he's granting, because now he's, a demigod. And so now he's making decisions as to who and who are not. Mind you, the same person who's just as man and flesh as I am has just the same amount of flaws and, you know, imperfections as the rest of us, but he gets to decide because now he's basically a deity. I don't understand, but who am I? Anyway, they went on to say, quote, the presence in such relationships of positive elements, which are in themselves to be valued and appreciated, cannot justify these relationships and render them legitimate objects of an ecclesial blessing, since the positive elements exist within the context of a union not ordered to the creator's plan. I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to do it. They go on to say God, quote, does not and cannot bless sin. He blesses sinful man so that he may recognize that he is part of his plan of love and allow himself to be changed by him. What? I'm going to read that again because it didn't make sense to me when I read it either. Let me read this again. Let me read this again because it didn't make sense to me either. God, quote, does not and cannot bless sin. He blesses sinful man so that they may recognize that he is part of his plan of love and allow himself to be changed by him. I'm gonna let y'all grapple. I can't. I'm gonna let y'all grapple with that. I don't want no more part. I'm done with him. Nope. We're not doing that. Where's my I got a bottle of my bottle sitting right here, right? So I almost picked up this bottle because I had this right next to it, right? I almost picked this up and chugged it like I'm about to pick this up and chug it. And it probably is more appropriate for me to pick this up and chug it because I'm about to go full scale meltdown in just a few moments. I know I'm about to have a meltdown. I know that. I know that. I'm about to have a full scale meltdown. Oh God. Mm. Yeah, the Pope might have sugar too. Now that don't sound like sugar. That sounds like gout. That's what that is. Or maybe he has erectile dysfunction and that's what causes him to. I'll give him something that. So, dear God, help us, Lord. In news of some of the worst cases of diabetes going on right now, okay? Senator Ron Johnson from the great state of Wisconsin last week decided to ingest, a double chocolate fudge cheesecake before he went for an interview, which caused extreme spikes in his sugar levels. And he went in. I don't, I guess I gotta let y'all hear it, huh? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Where's the video? It's so ridiculous. I don't even I don't even want to hear his voice. Um, and I don't even want to read the statements. Well, let me read this. Oh God, here we go. Y'all see, I'm having angst, and I'm like, I keep like breathing because I'm trying to breathe and relax and relate and release before I go down this road with him and our last person. Johnson says, and this is his quote. Well, no, the interviewer says his name is Joe Pags. That's the interviewer. I mean, there's no way you're going to work with every there. I'm sorry, let me read that again. I mean, there's no way people you're going to work with every day really think that you and I are white supremacists because we believe in conservative values, right? Ron Johnson replied by saying, but no, I mean, let's face it. I'm also criticized because I've made the comment that on January 6th, I've never felt threatened because I didn't. And mainly because I knew that even though thousands of people were marching the Capitol of be, I knew that even though thousands of people were marching the Capitol, were trying to pressure people like me to vote, they wanted me to vote. I knew those I knew those are people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement and would never do anything to break the law. So I wasn't concerned. Now, had the tables been turned, Joe, this could get me in trouble. Had the tables been turned and President Trump won the election, and those were tens of thousands of Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters, I might have been a little concerned. Screw it. Y'all drive me to drink. Screw it. We're here now. We're here. We're here. We're here. Mm, we're here. Where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? I mean, where do you go with that? This is a sitting elected senator in these yet to be United States of America. Let's be clear. A senator is the longest serving elected official in the yet to be United States of America. Now we know we have justices to the Supreme Court. They aren't elected, they are appointed and confirmed. But in terms of people that are elected by the people of this country, a senator is the longest serving at 6 years. Ron Johnson knew full well the breadth, the gravity of everything that he was saying, which is, highlighted when he says, Joe, this could get me in trouble. This is what we are dealing with. This is what we're dealing with, people. This is what we are dealing with. Now, let's be clear. Ron Johnson isn't, prior to this, wasn't seen as out there and divisive and just deplorable as the Josh Howleys of the world and Rafael Cruzes of the world. He wasn't seen as out. He was seen as, measured, intelligent, and so forth. And even the measured and intelligent ones are just as racist as the others. They all are. Let's be clear. These white, privileged white men over there on that other side, and some even on our side, are just as racist and as heinous as it comes. Okay. That young man had an extra large slice of double chocolate fudge cheesecake right before that interview. And then, and, and then added insult to injury. And instead of having the little candies like Skittles or something, he took the little pixie sticks, opened it up, and started pouring the sugar from the pixie sticks down his mouth. Okay, down his throat. It's like a BC powder for him. You hear me? Like a BC, just tear off the top of the pixie sticks and just start, having like 4 or 5 of them have all this sugar go in his mouth. So he could just start spiking. Like you could see a vein on the side of his head pulsating and shit like that. Because he clearly had a diabetic sugar spike. Now, here's what this young man said afterwards when he was questioned. Let me let y'all hear this because y'all, I can't make this stuff up. You just got to hear it for yourself. I can't make this stuff up. Okay, hopefully y'all can hear this. Here's what he said. Hold on, let me go back. Let me rewind. Hold on. This is about race. This is about rights. I've been attacked because I pushed back on the narrative that thousands of armed insurrections. This is part of a small part of Central America. I wasn't surprised. Still shocked. But it's hard out. So, what do you do with that? Somebody who goes off on a completely non-negotiable, just categorically, unequivocally racist rant on an interview, and when questioned about it, has the audacity to feel as he's the victim, as if he's being accosted because they were so innocuous. And how dare you pull the race card on me? Really? How dare? My question is, how dare we don't have members of Congress and of the Senate doing everything they can to censor you? How dare we not have investigations or things put on the floor of the Senate, not trying to get you to not have any votes? Why are the people of Wisconsin not out in the streets right now? Storming his offices down there in Wisconsin. Can we get some of that going on? Because this type of stuff, since these people don't scare him, they don't scare him at all. He's not scared at all. I mean, what do you do with that? And I'm so sad that my grandfather used to say this back in the day because it's so not true. My grandfather back in the day used to say, son, the sometimes I really feel like the only way we're gonna get rid of some of this racism is some of these people gonna have to die. No, because once they die, you got the next one that comes up behind them, just as racist, if not even more racist. I told y'all Ron Johnson was seen as the measured one, the one that was intelligent, the one that was forward thinking. And now we see that he's backwoods and back alley. And left to himself, he would be just as racist as any of the others. Listen, I would be screaming from the rooftop if I were a senator, screaming from the rooftop about this young man and some of the things that he said. Because at this point, I don't know that anytime you vote or anything you say on the floor of the Senate isn't racially charged. You hear what I'm saying? Right. They want to be like Strom Thurmond and die in office. They're trying to turn this country into what Great Britain was when the colonials, when the colonizers left. Lord, just a mess. Ron Johnson also said that the terrorists from January 6th were people who, quote, loved this country. He also said that quote, that they, quote, truly respect law enforcement and would never do anything to break a law. The same ones who killed law enforcement. The same ones who were finding out sprayed all types of bear mace or some bear spray on people, causing them to have scabs and stuff all over their face and skin. Those are the people who respect law enforcement. But you're not afraid of those people. But you're afraid of Black Lives Matter people because they hold fist up in the air. Mind you, your boy Josh Hawley held his fist up as well. Let's be clear. You're afraid of our skin. I don't understand. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And in our feast de resistance, never to be outdone. Because as bad as you think that is, because as bad as that and as heinous as that may sound, never to be outdone. Never to be outdone in terms of worst human beings on the face of the planet is your boy, because he ain't mine, your boy, Tucker Carlson. Your boy Tucker Carlson. That one. That one. Your boy, Tucker Carlson. Let me see if I can find a snippet of what this young man had to say. Let's see if I can find that. See, hold on. See if I can find it here. Hold on. Oh, okay, that's it right there. All right. So I'm gonna play this news clip from. Hold on. Hold on. Anyway, while this, because you know they always got to play an ad. I done lost a lot of white friends over the last 4 years or so. A lot of them. Tucker Carlson. Okay, it's just all right. So let me try and cue this up. I think
Of officers and enlisted members was swift and scathing. First, the Pentagon.
Oh, hold on. That's too far.
Deployments often to war zones.
So we've got new hairstyles and
Hold on.
in their path and looking to their example.
It was.
Let me set this up. You know, Joe Biden appointed, I believe it was the last was it last week? I believe it was the first four-star general, female four-star generals in the military. And I think I talked about that on Silly Saturday. And um it was a great thing, a great day. He also talked about other things that the military is doing to be more inclusive of women being in the military, being in combat, because we know for a long time women were restricted on the different things that they could do in the military. And so to be more inclusive and so forth, they were because listen, I will sit any woman that wants to go to the military, please go, because I'm not going. That's not my ministry. That is, I applaud any woman that goes because that's not my ministry. Like, no, that's not my ministry. But I'm just saying. Anyway, let's Tucker Carlson took offense to the fact that there were now four-star generals that were female, and now they're, and the fact that they were, Joe Biden talked about them making body armor and stuff like that for women that, you know, was more fitting to like their breasts and stuff, and even some for that could fit better for women that may have been pregnant and so forth. But here's, just listen.
Also a big week for women in the military for another reason, and it's not a good one. It's because a highly rated propaganda arm that usually professes to support the men and women who wear the uniform of the United States Armed Forces, Fox's Tucker Carlson, took aim at service members who not only fight for this country, but schedule the growing of human beings around deployments, often to war zones.
So we've got new hairstyles and maternity flight suits. Pregnant women are going to fight our wars. It's a mockery of the U.S. military. Well, China's military becomes more masculine as it's assembled the world's largest navy. Our military needs to become, as Joe Biden says, more feminine, whatever feminine means anymore, since men and women no longer exist. The bottom line is it's out of control, and the Pentagon's going along with this. Again, this is a mockery of the U.S. military and its core mission, which is winning wars.
The backlash from the military, from all ranks of officers and enlisted members, was swift and scathing. First, the Pentagon.
What we absolutely won't do is take personnel advice from a talk show host.
And this was what Carlson zeroed in on when he responded to the uproar on his show last night.
Today, the Department of Defense launched a large and coordinated public relations offensive against this show. Pentagon brass issued hostile statements. People in uniform sent out videos on social media. The DoD even issued a news release attacking us. Press Secretary smites Fox News host. Smites, like we're a hostile foreign power. This is bigger than a feud with some flack at the Pentagon. This is genuinely worrisome. The Department of Defense has never been more aggressively or openly political.
Carlson had to respond because the backlash was fierce. So he chose to respond by pretending the backlash was just the Pentagon, just Biden, political appointees rebuking him. But that is not what this is. The military.
Anyway, I don't need to hear her. I just wanted y'all to hear what this young man had to say, because y'all see why I told y'all I felt a rage coming in. So on one hand, we have elected senators being openly and blatantly racist. Openly, blatantly racist. Telling you that they have a problem with Black people. Telling you that they're afraid of Black people. Well, sir, perhaps when you make statements like that, probably you have a reason to be afraid. But you're not afraid of the white people who are around here damn near spraying people with, chemical warfare like substances, killing law enforcement officers, just basically damn near taking down the U.S. Capitol. You're not afraid of any of those people who are carrying their assault rifles and walking around here with all types of chemical warfare, strategically looking to do harm to people on both sides, mind you, erecting gallows with which to hang or behead the vice president of these yet to be United States of America. You're not afraid of any of those people, but you're afraid of people peacefully protesting, right? Right. That's what you're afraid of, right? Then we have people that are allowed and that are given the right to spew their venom across the airwaves, across television airwaves. We got these people like the Tucker Carlsons of the world, who is easily one of the most heinous individuals to walk the face of the planet. Just an insidious individual who now says, because it wasn't enough for him to be misogynistic in his views, he had to throw in a dig at, the spectrum as well, the LGBTQIA plus spectrum. He had to throw a dig in at them as well. So you got this fucktard. You got this fucktard, right? Claiming, mind you, last time I checked, I don't remember Tucker Carlson fighting in anybody's war anywhere. I don't remember Tucker Carlson enlisting in anybody's military. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Y'all might know that young man's resume and history. Could correct me if I'm wrong. But last time I checked, I don't think he was. Oh, I'm not done. Oh, y'all thought I was done with Mr. Carlson? Oh no. Oh no. Mr. Carlson said, oh, y'all think that's it? Oh no. Um, I forgot to mention your boy, your boy. Oh yeah, I'm not done. He's not done yet. Oh, we're not done with Tucker Carlson. But I should remind you, those of you who reside in the great state of Texas, that your elected senator there, Rafael Cruz, sided with Mr. Carlson here because, according to Rafael Cruz, he said on Twitter, under Biden, the military is launching political attacks to intimidate Tucker Carlson and other civilians who criticize their policy decisions. Officials in uniforms are being used for the campaign. I've demanded a meeting with the Commandant of the United States Marine Corps to put a stop to it. This was after the United States the U.S. Marine Corps and the other military branches put out official press releases saying we vehemently detest the remarks from this young man. We want no parts of it, and things like that should never be said and spoken of. And so your boy Rafael Cruz got a problem with that. Your boy. Let me tell you how the people was going in on him. The people, they said if only Ted Cruz stood up for his wife, father, kids, and dog like he does Tucker Carlson. Remember, he had the whole scandal with his family. He defends Carlson, but not Texans. COVID, no electricity, food lines, unemployment, then voted against the relief package, left Snowflake the dog home alone in freezing weather with no electricity. But let's get busy defending Tucker Carlson. The people was going in on him. Ted Cruz wouldn't even defend his own wife. It's no wonder he won't defend our female troops. Oop, bloop. Republicans going after the military because of misogyny and dangerously radical Fox News pundit is just wild and revealing. Like I said before, these hypocrites do ultimately tell on themselves. Ciao. Ciao. Anyway, Tucker Carlson wasn't done. Mountain Dew made my VIP trip. I'm trying to tell you. Oh no. Tucker Carlson's attack on females was not done. Shall I remind you that this is the same Tucker Carlson who called Senator Tammy Duckworth deeply silly and unimpressive? I just want to remind you that this is the person that we're talking about. Senator Tammy Duckworth is a veteran. She has a Purple Heart. The woman lost her legs in the Iraq War. It has titanium steel, prosthetic legs, okay? And yet Tucker Carlson thought that it was okay to come at Miss Duckworth. Here's what he had to say about her. I hope I don't have to listen to this whole thing. Hold on. Nope, not doing it. That's too long. I'm not. Nope, 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 nope. I'm trying to find. Anyway, let me give you the context. When there was a lot of the last year when there was a lot of the Confederate statues and things that got taken down and stuff like that because they were, bad. No, he's not a veteran. He's not a veteran at all. Tammy Duckworth went on an interview, and during that interview, she was asked, "Well, do you think they should take down George Washington's statue?" And that's because people started to call out the fact that George Washington and some of these people had other backgrounds in history that didn't need to quite be celebrated. And so she didn't say that they needed to be taken down. She simply said, "Well, we need to really look at and have a conversation and dialogue about some of the people who there are statues of a who behold deer and really have a dialogue about what that means to certain Americans. He took offense to that because how dare you um um talk about George Washington. Oh no. And so that's when he went on this tirade saying that she was unimpressive and saying that she was deeply silly. Baby, that woman Terry Duckworth came right out in a tweet. She didn't mix words. She didn't beat around the bush. The first parts of that tweet said, fuck Tucker Carlson. Sitting United States Senator was not here for the bullshit. She wasn't here for the fuck shit. She came right on out. First line of the tweet, fuck Tucker Carlson. Okay, listen, that's my kind of senator. Okay, that is the type of person who I need representing me, who's gonna come right out and say, I'm not here for you and your fuck shit. Okay, I'm not here for the bullshit. Came right out. She said, and then she went on to say, hey, bitch, these titanium steel legs that I have to put on every day, they don't buckle. Meaning, bitch, however you feel, I'm here for it. Okay? That's what I need in my senator. Motherfucker who come right out. Fuck Tucker Carlson. Don't come over here mixing words. Okay? Don't come over here with all of this. The statements by Tucker Carlson were said, no, I ain't gonna, no. Tammy said, fuck Tucker Carlson. Listen, let me read the exact tweet. I want to read the exact tweet for y'all because I feel like you need. Hold on. I feel like y'all need this in y'all life today. I'm here for Tammy Duckworth. I'm here for her telling Tucker Carlson, fuck you. I was here for it. I was here for all of it. Okay. So I was here for all of it. Her tweet says, move. Move this shit out my way. All right. Her tweet says, and this tweet just came out last week. She says, fuck Tucker Carlson. While he was practicing his two-step, America's female warriors were hunting down Al Qaeda and proving the strength of America's women. Happy belated International Women's Day to everyone but Tucker, who even I can dance better than it. Then she had a little let me see if I can hold on, y'all. Let me put this up so y'all can see this. It is hilarious. I'm here for all of it. Listen. Put this up so y'all can see. Because she was here for it. See, this is the kind of senator that I need. I need my senators like this woman right here. I need my senators like the great Tammy Duckworth. Because when the first part of your tweet starts with fuck Tucker Carlson, it's a great day. That's good. Hey, that's quality right there. That is quality. Let me get this set up for y'all. Okay. Let me get this set up for y'all. All right. There we go right there. There's the tweet from Tammy Duckworth, right? There's the tweet where she said, and you see it right there, fuck Tucker Carlson. That's the first three words. Girl, we ain't mixing words. We ain't here for all this shit. We ain't here for it. Okay. Then she put this up. To show you about how well he can dance. She was like, while you out here practicing your two step, America's Female Warriors was right here hunting down. I got, girl, she went in. I was here for it. Girl, I was here for. Listen, this is what I need in my United States senators. I need them to not mix words with racists and misogynists like the Tucker Carlsons of the world and the Ron Johnsons of the world. And the scary part is, I know, I think that was you, um, Jason, who said we need more 30 something senators. But the scary part of it is the younger ones are just as bad. Josh Hawley is not that old. Josh Hawley ain't that old. And he's just as racist. He is not that old. Anyway, I wanted to show y'all that. He is not that old and just as racist. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know, y'all. It's not this thing we call politics. As much as we love to think that it's getting better, to a certain degree, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. I don't know. What I do know is y'all will drive me to drink. Y'all will drive me to drink. Anyway, I got to get off here, y'all. I got to go to work. I'm be working late today. And yeah. Jason, let me remind you, what happened down in Charleston, Virginia a few years ago was on a college campus with college age, most of them were college age young men, 20 somethings. It ain't getting no better. It's a lot of them out there. It's a lot of them. Let's put some shadows in the chat before I get out of here. Um, as you can see, we're doing things, we're sprucing things up. We're trying to make things nice for y'all, trying to get y'all um to, enjoy what y'all see around here. We'll be making more changes and more improvements to the channel. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation today. Exactly, so Jeff, exactly. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation today. Shondo's around the building, Shondo's in the chat. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. Shout out to the mod squad. Shout out to the mod squad who always doing the damn thing. Modding for me, it does not go unnoticed, and I am deeply appreciative of what you do, mod squad. Um, yeah, I think that's all I got for y'all today. Until next time. Oh yeah, we have Queen Sugar tonight, The Wedding. So look for that review to be up either tonight or in the morning. That's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. If I can press the button. Oh dear God.